everyone, welcome back. It's great to have you here today. In this video, we are going to go over 5 EMC style questions. I recommend trying these questions yourself first. You can find the link to the questions in the description box. If you need to review the content before attempting the questions, this playlist might be helpful. Okay, so let's get started on the first question. We are given function f and g, and what we need to find is the sum of the inverse of f and the inverse of g. So what we need to do is to find the inverse of f first. Now f takes x, adding 3, that gives us x plus 3, and multiply by 5. So that's 5x plus 3. The inverse takes x divided by 5 gives us x over 5, and take away 3. X over 5, take away 3. So this is the inverse of f. G takes x divided by 3 gives us x over 3. Subtract 1, x over 3, take away 1. So the G inverse takes x plus 1, x plus 1, and times by 3. So that gives us 3x plus 1. Okay, so now we need to find the sum of these two inverse functions. So what we need to do is simply add them together and simplify the expression. And in the end, we have 14 over 5x as our final answer. Okay, now moving on to the next one. Again, we are given the function f and g, and we need to find the composite function fg. So that means putting g in f. Now these two functions are more difficult than the previous one. So with f, it takes x and subtract from 4. So we have 4 subtract x. We then need to square and then take away 2. So we have 4 take away x squared, take away 2. Now fg means the input is g. So g is 4 take away root x plus 2. This becomes our input. We need to subtract from 4. So 4 subtract 4 take away root x plus 2. Expand bracket, we see we have root x plus 2. Now we need to square it. That gives us x plus 2. Subtract 2. That gives us x. Okay, so fgx is x. X is our input. X is also our output. In this case, we say fgx is an identity function. That means no matter what you put in, you will get the same out. This happens when fg are inverse functions. So that means f is the g inverse and the g is the f inverse. If you try to find gf, and you will notice that it will also give you the identity function. Please have a go and verify this yourself. Okay, now moving on to the next one. Again, we are given two functions, f and g, and we need to find the x such that the inverse of fg is 2. Okay, so let's do it step by step. Step number 1, we need to find fg. So f takes x, add 4 times 2. So now the input is going to be g. It's 1 take away x over 3. We need to add 4 and multiply it by 2. So fg is 2 lots of 1 take away x over 3 plus 8. Okay, so let's see what fg does. fg take x, subtract from 1, and then multiply by 2, divide by 3, and then plus 8. So what we needed to find is the inverse of fg. So what we needed to do is take x, subtract 8, multiply by 3, divided by 2, and subtract from 1. Remember, these two are self-inverse. So fg inverse is going to be 1 take away 3 brackets x take away 8 over 2. Okay, so now in the question, we needed to find x such that fg inverse is 2. So what we needed to do is, we know what is fg inverse. We set that equal to 2 and solve for x. By rearranging, we know that x is 22 over 3. Okay, so now moving on to the next question. What we needed to do first is find gf1. So that means we need to evaluate f1, and then we will need to put the output of f1 into g and find the output of that. f1 is 3 times 1 squared plus 1, which is 4. Now g4 is going to be 4 over 4 squared, and that is a quarter. So our final answer is a quarter. And then the next question also wants us to find fg inverse. So what we needed to do is we needed to find fg first. Now what we can do is by drawing the maths function, and you can try that first and check see if we are getting the same answer. What I'm doing here is substituting g back into f. And that means replace x in fx by g. What we needed to do is to simplify this expression, and then we have a 48 over x to the 4 plus 1, and then that is fg. Now let's check, see what fg does to x. Now if we have x, we need to raise it to the power of 4, x to the 4, and reciprocate, that is 1 over x to the 4, multiply by 48, that is 48 over x to the 4. And then I needed to add 1, that gives us fg. To find fg inverse, we take x, subtract 1, that's x take away 1. We needed to divide by 48. So x take away 1 over 48. The inverse of reciprocate is itself. So I need to reciprocate that is 48 over x take away 1. And then I needed to take the fourth root. That leaves us with fourth root of 48 over x take away 1. And that is our final answer, hx, which is fg inverse. So now let's look at the final question. Any function in the form of a over x plus b take away b is self-inverse. So let's check this. Let's look at the function f and see what it does to x. F take x, add b, that gives us x plus b, and then reciprocate that is 1 over x plus b times a, and then subtract b. Now to find the inverse of f, what we needed to do is to take x, add b, that gives us x plus b, divide by a, and then reciprocate that. That leaves us with a over x plus b, and then we need to take away b. Now as you can see, f inverse is the same as f, and now we have shown that fx is its own inverse. Okay, well done for making through to the end, especially if you have done the questions yourself. Remember, maths isn't a spectator sport. You have to keep practicing to be better at it. Happy revising, and I'll see you in the next video.